Hello, can you hear me now? Yes? Hello, students, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Maria? Yes? Hello, everybody. Can you hear me now? Yes? No? Maybe? Can you hear
Hello,
me?
teacher.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Teacher, how are you?
Can you hear what I'm saying? Hello?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. I was not connected to the audio, I guess. But now everybody can hear, right?
Yep.
Yep, good, 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 good. We're back in business. Okay, excellent. So I was saying it was very wet today, huh?
Yep. Still.
Yeah, a lot of water.
rain,
Yeah.
a lot of rain. Did you go outside or did you just stay inside today?
I went to work today.
You went to work, okay.
Yeah.
All right. How was the traffic today?
Very clear.
The roads
No
were clear?
traffic.
Nobody was here?
No.
Quiet, huh?
Yep.
All right, very good, very good. Well, while we're waiting for everybody to come in, let's get started with our usual verb warm-up, okay? We're gonna talk a little bit more about unless tonight, and then we're also gonna talk about what we call the second conditional, which is something that we're introduced to in level 4. But let's see here. Let me make sure everybody is coming. Is somebody else here? Armando's coming. All right, Armando, welcome. And here's somebody else coming in. Okay. All right. All right. So let me open up my, here we go. All right. Can everybody see there's Maria again coming in. All right. Can everybody see the paper?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Good. All right. So the first one here. Now you noticed I sent this to you today. So
Yes.
So if I'm going to make that my habit. And also I'm going to show you after where you can print these all out if you want to. All right. So what do we have here? We have the word, we have ever, right? So has, exactly. Has Mrs. Jones ever baked cookies? Present perfect, right? Has Mrs. Jones ever baked cookies? All right. The next one is about something that happened yesterday. Simple past, right? R-A-N-K. Exactly. The boys drank a lot of soda yesterday. Perfect.
Mary has already studied.
Mary
All
had
right.
already.
Has already, right?
That's already.
Has already studied. The next one says sometimes. Sometimes is in general, right? So what can we say? Sometimes I practice, right? In general. All right, the next one here says yesterday.
Ask.
Didn't
Didn't
exactly.
ask.
Didn't. Oops. Didn't ask. There we go. All right. The next one has that word never. Talking about your experience, right? So what can we say?
Has never smoked.
Has never smoked.
Never smoked.
Has Never
Never
smoked.
cigarette.
All right. All right. The next one.
Is Mike waiting?
Mike waiting.
Is Mike
Is
waiting?
Mike waiting?
Exactly. Is Mike
Wait.
waiting?
Mike waiting.
All right. The next one says what? When
What
the
are,
earthquake.
What did
what are you doing?
What are you
Oh.
or what were you?
What were you doing?
What were you
were
doing
you
at
doing?
that time, right? Remember that one from level 3? Past continuous.
Were you doing?
What were you doing when the earthquake hit? And again, the next one, very similar. When I called him, right? Again, simple past, but the when is going to be with what?
I got to
Let's continue.
Past continuous. You got it. What?
When
Sam was
Was reading.
Waiting.
reading.
Reading the
reading.
Exactly.
Reading.
Sam was reading the paper
paper when I call him.
Like call him.
when I called him.
Reading, Mr. Webb, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Oh, okay.
Pop shoe.
Will
Will,
sell.
will sell.
Will sell.
Sorry.
Going to
Will sell. Yes.
sell.
Will sell. Or what's another choice?
He's going
He's going
to
to
sell.
sell.
Is or are?
Are going to.
Are going to sell.
Are going to
He's
sell.
going
I prefer are going to in this case because it's an intention, a plan. All right. The next one. There we have that word already. What can we say? The
The
children
chicken hat
have
The
had
children
already
already
gone.
have already
gone.
gone.
already gone.
Have already gone. Yesterday. Yesterday, past
Didn't make.
and negative, right? Didn't, right? Very good. Didn't make. Didn't make lasagna yesterday. All right. The next one. What flowers
Will
Will
Sam
some
will Sam
plant
plant?
in his garden
Or
next
is
year?
going to plant? No problem. All right. Now this one's a little bit tricky. It talks about an action that's happened again and again and again, many times. So should we
Gotta
say
help the community many times.
tries, is trying, or has tried?
He's trying.
has tried.
Has tried, exactly.
Has
Has
tried.
tried.
That's right.
Remember we were talking about that in the first week of the new trimester. When you have that how many question, we usually answer it with present perfect, right? How many times have you gone to the beach? How many times have you eaten breakfast? All right, now the next one is pretty straightforward. Simple
Will
future, I
start.
think. Will start,
Will
sure.
be.
Will
Game will
start.
start at 7
Or
at 8
I
tomorrow.
heard somebody say will be, which is a good idea too.
Yeah, it's
Will
a
be start
specific.
Because it's a
8 tomorrow.
particular time, right? So that's fine too. All right, now the next one. The next one says for 3 hours, right? I'm tired. ¿Por qué?
We've been standing.
We've been
We
standing.
are
We
tired.
have been
We have
standing.
been
Yeah,
Have been standing. Right.
standing.
We have been standing in the line
Been standing the line.
for 3 hours. Okay. The next one, the verb is to write.
What?
Water a letter
Wrote.
to president of the company last year.
Didn't write.
Wrote.
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 Ago.
Walter wrote a letter.
Simple past, regular, irregular verb. All right. The next one, Tom.
Has Tom eaten?
There we go. Has
Has
Tom
Tom
Eaten.
eaten?
lunch yet?
Has Tom eaten lunch yet?
Number 19, future again.
Fernand
Won't
Over
come.
will now.
Won't
Won't.
come.
Won't.
Won't come.
Or
Armand won't come
Listen.
to class tomorrow
Won't.
night.
One come.
One
Isn't going to.
come.
Isn't going to come.
isn't going to come.
Is going
Okay,
to come.
here's that word yet again, but this time negative.
Hasn't.
Mhm. I agree. Hasn't.
Hey, Mr. Webb, number 20.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I jumped.
Class on number
I
20.
jumped over number 20. Oops. Oopsie. All right. Back to number 20. Jim, the meeting last week.
Did.
Did, sure.
Did
Did Jim attend?
Jim attend?
Did Jim attend the meeting last week? Now, the next one is a question. What can we say?
Do you know?
Do
Do
you
you
know?
know?
Absolutely. Do you
Uh,
know?
do you know?
Do you know the way to San Jose?
Away from Jose.
Okay. The next one. Oh, sorry.
Quiet.
We need
Hi.
the class. Okay. Quiet. The class
Is
Is
begin.
being quiet?
is
Is beginning.
It's
beginning.
beginning.
Is beginning right
beginning.
now. Mhm. And the next one, when Greg and his wife,
grabbing his wife back.
Did you get?
When it
When.
when did, right,
When did Greg and his wife get?
right, because they're already married,
yeah,
so the
Greg
Yep.
and his wife.
question would be
Are you
past.
good?
When did Greg and his wife get married?
When did
All
I
right,
won't take.
The
and
bus.
the last one,
I
yes,
won't take.
exactly.
Won't take.
I won't
I
take
won't take the bus.
or I am
Won't take.
not.
I want to.
I'm going to take.
All right, all good?
Yes.
Preguntas, problemas.
No.
Everybody good?
Yeah. Sure.
Más o menos?
Más o menos.
Now, más o menos. Okay, now. Oop, somebody's here. Another person coming to our class. Excellent. There we go. Okay, welcome. All right, I want to show you a different thing that something I've done today. Okay, let me see here. Where are we? No, here. Okay. All right. Okay. Do you see? Do you see our class page here?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to show you something. You see this new folder? I just put it in today. This folder says verb reviews, right? So this is all of our warm-ups. So for example, today we did number 2. And so tomorrow we're going to do number 3. So if you want to practice before the class begins, you can just click on this number 3 and it'll be right here. Here it comes. There it is. Almost 100% coming slowly. There it is. So this is what we're going to do tomorrow. So you can just download it. Remember, this is the download button right here. And you can print it out on your printer, or you can just copy the sentences into your book. And I'll send everybody the same document on Remind too. So just so you can practice ahead of time if you want to. If you have time.
How can I get into the website?
So this is the Schoology.com website, right?
Right, but he asked me for a code.
Well, you'll have you need an email and a password, right? You need
Yes.
your school email and you need a password. If you like I've said before, if you don't have a school email and a password, send me a message and I'll set up your account for you.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't have that yet. Most of the people who were in my class last semester should have this already set and ready to go. But if people who are new to my class don't have it yet. But again, all you'll have to do is you'll go to the website dace.schoology.com. This website right here. dace.schoology.com. And let me show you how it works. I'll bring up another. Let me bring up another file. So okay. All right. So you go to dace.schoology.com and you get to this window. If you're not at this window, you're not doing it right. You have to see this LA Unified emblem. And then once you see that emblem, then all you have to do is put in your account. This is my account. And then you put in your password. And then, whoops, sometimes I spell my password wrong. Oops, what's going on here? Okay, I'm typing too quickly. Oh, I see. That's not my email. Forgot my email address. There we go. Oops. There we go. It's hard to teach and type in your password at the same time. I'm learning that. So then you get to your website like I am right here, and then you just click on courses. And what's our class? The Cheetahs, right? We are the Cheetahs. So we click on Cheetah, and there's our class right here with all the information. Okay, if anybody's still having problems with that, please send me a message tomorrow and I'll get you set up. Okay, so that's the Schoology class. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of things that you can practice by yourself and a lot of things that we're going to use together. And also, notice, I have also links to our old classes. Right? So for example, last night we studied conditionals, right? So if you look here, you see here, April 6th conditionals. You could watch the class if you miss one. And here it comes. And see, there's our class from last night, right? So again, this website is very useful and will help you a lot. It will help you a lot. Of course, if you just want to come to the class, that's fine. But the website has a lot of information and it will really help you learn. Okay. Anyway, back to business here. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Now everybody can see the board?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, I want to talk a little bit more tonight about the word unless, because I talked about it just a little bit last night. Right? I want to talk about unless a little bit, and then we're going to talk about one more thing as well. So unless is for necessary conditions, right? For necessary conditions, meaning that the condition is necessary. If the condition doesn't happen, the result doesn't happen, right? So for example, if I say, for example, if I pass the test, I will be happy, right? But there are many things that will make me happy. But unless means there's a necessary condition. So for example, you can't enter the museum without buying a ticket, right? The ticket is necessary to enter the museum, right? The ticket is necessary to enter the museum. So instead of saying without, I can make a sentence with unless. So I can say the same thing. You can't enter the museum unless you buy a ticket, right? Or, for example, you won't learn if you don't study on your own. You won't learn if you don't study on your own. Okay? So how do we do it with unless? You won't learn unless you study on your own. See what I did? Instead of saying,
Won't learn.
if you don't study, I say, unless you study. If you don't study, unless you study. Same. Let's do another example. Example. I'm going to quit my job if my boss doesn't give me a raise. I'm going to quit my job if my boss doesn't give me a raise. All right. So, again, do I change this part? No. I'm going to quit my job unless what?
My boss give me a raise.
Exactly, unless my boss gives me a raise. I'm going to quit my job unless my boss gives me a raise, right? So unless is like if with negative. See, we have don't here, we have without here, so we use unless with if and a negative for things that are necessary. For things that are necessary. Okay? All right, now I want to do a little more practice with this a little more practice with this if we can. And let me open up this again. Okay, here we go. All right, does everybody see my website? Oops, wrong website. Let's try it again. Let's try again. Oops. All right. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
All right, let's try this one more time. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Go. All right. Can everybody see that? Or does it need to be a little bigger?
If or unless. Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody can see? There we go.
Yes.
Okay. Whoops. Got it. Okay. All right. Oops. Get rid of that screen. I'll make it a little smaller here. All right. Okay. Where are we? Now it disappeared. There it is. Okay. Okay. There we go. Oops. Okay. All right. Here it is. All right. So we're going to choose if or unless.
If.
Okay. It says, you'll help me. I will be unable to do it. Unable.
If.
So should I say if you help me or unless you help me?
If.
If you.
If you have,
But notice this says unable,
okay.
right? Not able.
Unless.
Unable.
Unless.
Exactly.
Unless you help me.
Unless you help me, I will be unable to do it. Meaning I can't do it without your help. Your help is necessary. Unless you help me, I can't do it. Your help is necessary. Okay? Let's see. The next one. Meet him. I will tell him the whole truth. If or unless.
If.
Okay, let's go to the next one. You won't get well. You stop smoking. Unless. Good. Right? Stopping smoking is necessary for your health, right?
Won't get well
All right.
unless you
The next
stop
one.
smoking.
Unless.
If.
Should we say
Unless
unless or
you
if?
exercise regularly.
Unless
Exactly. Exercising is necessary, right? When something is necessary, we use unless, right? If you don't exercise, you won't be healthy.
You won't be able to lose some weight.
All right. All right. So how about this one? This one says you will lose some weight. So should I say unless or
If you
Exactly.
you exercise
if you
regularly,
exercise
If
regularly,
you exercise
you will
regularly,
lose some weight.
you'll lose some weight. Okay. All right. Next one. The teacher will be furious if
unless
right, if you don't do the homework.
If you
Because we
do.
already have the negative over here, right? So I don't need two negatives, right? You can't
if
go
you don't
on vacation
Unless.
You can go on vacation.
Because the
If you
negative
don't
is
save
foreigner.
money.
you don't save money, right? Because I already
Yeah.
have don't over here.
If.
Yeah.
If.
Okay.
you don't save some money,
You will
Okay.
you
feel,
can
you
go
will
on
feel
vacation
cold.
if you don't save some money.
Unless
Okay. All right.
Unless.
You will get cold feet, or you will feel cold unless you wear your
To
jacket.
wear
Unless.
a
Exactly.
warm jacket.
Unless you wear your warm jacket. Okay. We'll arrive on time
If.
if we
if we
hurry.
hurry. If we hurry. We will be late unless we hurry. All right. Don't call me
Don't call me
Unless.
Unless.
it is important.
Unless.
unless it is an emergency. Unless it is an emergency. Unless, right.
The
All right.
number 9 is unless.
Number 9 is if.
If.
All right. So, oh, look, perfect score.
Yes.
Very smart students. All right. All right. Now I want you to practice a little bit on your own. Let's all right. So I'm going to erase this. Everybody has this written down? It's gone now. All right. We're going to do some practice. All right. I'm going to write I'm going to write 3 sentences with if, and I want you to write a new sentence with unless. Let me give you an example. Okay, there's my sentence. If you don't pay the bill, the landlord will be angry. So how do we say it with unless? Unless
You pay the bill.
pay the bill, exactly.
Unless you pay the bill. Happy.
Or will be angry.
Okay, unless you pay the bill, the landlord will be angry. Okay, got the idea? Okay, I'm going to write 3 sentences, and I want you to change them to unless. Okay, there's 3 sentences. I want you to change it to unless. Okay. I'm going to mute everybody for a little bit, and I'll let you write the sentences. All right, how we doing? Everybody finished?
Yes.
Yes? Más o menos? All right. All right. So what do we have here? We won't take
Won't take a
We won't take
vacation
vacation if we don't
unless
we
unless
have
We
enough
have
money.
enough money.
Unless we
exactly.
have enough money.
See what I did?
Yeah.
I just changed the affirmative to the negative. We won't take a vacation unless we have enough money. All right? David doesn't work on weekends if he doesn't have to.
David doesn't work on weekends
Weekends
unless
unless
you have
he
to.
has
he needs,
to.
he has to.
David doesn't work on weekends
Unless he
unless
has to.
He has to.
has to.
Okay.
Doesn't work on weekends unless he has to. And the last one, I won't drive my car if I don't have insurance.
I won't drive my car unless I have insurance.
Exactly. I won't drive my car unless I have
Insurance.
insurance. All right. Everybody feel okay about unless?
Yes, teacher.
Feel good? All right. Excellent. All right. Let me get us back to the main room here. Hello, everybody again.
Well,
Hi.
Now, I have a question. Did you all have an opportunity to watch the video I sent in the Remind app today? Yes? No?
no.
No, I couldn't.
No,
The
that's all right.
present
That's
rule.
all right. No problem. Let's watch it right now together. Let's watch it right now together. This is a video about our lesson for tonight, which is about what we call second conditional. Second conditional means the conditional of your imagination. What we call hypothetical situations. So let's watch the video together, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? Sounds fair? All right. So let's watch this video together today. All right. Let's see here. All right. There we go. Okay. Everybody back to. Can everybody see the website here? All right. All right. Oops. Hold on here. All right. Stop this share for a second. I need to push a different button. Hold on. I'm learning little by little. Okay. There we go. Okay. Here we go. And share. All right. Let's watch this video. Can everybody see the video?
Yes.
9. Lesson B. Present unreal. Watch and listen. Use the present unreal conditional to talk about what would happen in an imaginary, not real situation. Use if with a verb in the past tense in the clause that describes the imaginary situation. Use would with the base form of the verb in the results clause. Imaginary situation.
If everybody drove smaller cars,
Results clause.
we would use less gasoline.
Results clause.
We would use less gasoline.
Imaginary situation.
If everybody drove smaller cars.
If she used energy-efficient light bulbs, she would save electricity.
She would save electricity if she used energy-efficient light bulbs. If you fixed faucet leaks immediately, you would waste less water.
You would waste less water if you fixed faucet leaks immediately.
If we all walked to work, we would reduce pollution.
We would reduce pollution if we all walked to work.
If all the customers brought their own coffee cups, it would create less waste.
It would create less waste if all the customers brought their own coffee cups.
Check your understanding.
All right, let's check. All right, let me open up everybody's microphone here. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
No.
Were you able to hear that video?
Yes.
Okay. let's do some practice with it.
Picture.
Okay,
Then
let's
read
take a
the
look
two
here.
sentences about a present, unreal situation.
So remember, we're using if and simple past, and then would and base form. So what can we say here? If she simple past used, right? She would save, right? If she used, she would save.
Yeah.
Now listen to the sentences.
If she used energy-efficient light bulbs, she would save electricity.
So you see, simple past and would, past and would, past and would. Why? Because it's an imaginary situation. She doesn't use those light bulbs.
Look at the picture. Then link the two sentences about a present, unreal situation.
Okay, so what would we say here? If you fixed the leaky faucet, you
would
waste less water. Or the other way, you would waste less water if you fix the faucet.
If you fixed faucet leaks immediately, you would waste less water.
You would waste less water if you
Less
fixed
water
faucet leaks
if you
immediately.
Picture.
do the faucet
Then
leaks
complete the two sentences about a present, unreal situation.
All right, how about this one? What do we have here? If we
walk
to work,
we will
we
reduce pollution.
would reduce the
We would
pollution.
reduce
Or
pollution.
we would reduce pollution.
if we all walk to work.
If we all walk
We
to
all
work,
walk
we
to
would
work.
reduce pollution.
We would reduce pollution if we all walked to work.
To work.
Look at the picture. Then complete the two sentences about a present, unreal situation. Now listen to the sentences.
If all the customers brought their own coffee cups, it would create less waste.
It would create less waste if all the customers brought their own coffee cups.
Let's review.
If everybody drove smaller cars, we would use less gasoline.
If she used energy-efficient light bulbs, she would save electricity.
We would use less gasoline if everybody drove smaller cars.
She would save electricity if she used energy-efficient light bulbs.
Conditionals. Unit 9, Lesson B.
All right. Oops.
Who's fighting? Who's fighting with the dishes?
Sorry, it's my mom.
No problem. I hope everybody's okay. I hope we don't have to call the hospital. All right.
No, we're fine. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes? Good.
Yes.
Good. All right. Now, let's talk about this a little further. I'm going to share a different screen now, and we're going to talk about it step by step. Okay.
Stephanie.
All right. Okay, hold on here. This is not good. Hold on one second. Let me fix this. All right, hold on. Stop that for a second. All right. All right, let's try this again. Okay. Not so noisy now. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's try again. All right, does everybody see the slideshow here?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
Condition.
unreal conditionals. Sometimes we call them unreal. Sometimes we call it second conditional. Sometimes we call it an imaginary conditional. But the idea is the same. We're using if to imagine something that isn't true. We're using if just to imagine something that isn't true. So for example, what would you do if you had a lot of money? The you kind of disappeared there, but what would you do if you had a lot of money? Notice had, not have, had. Because, for example, I'm just a teacher. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not Bill Gates, right? So I say, what would I do if I had a lot of money? Oh, I would travel, I would buy a new house, right? But this is just imagine.
A homeless.
Oh, okay. Oh, very nice, very nice. You are a philanthropist. All right, so let's look at this a little more closely here. If, right? The key word here is if. It's not true. It's just imagination. Let's look at some examples. So what would you do if you won the lottery? Again, what would you do
Would you
if you
do
won
if you
the
won the
lottery?
lottery?
For example,
What will I do if I won the lottery?
Maxine would buy a new house for herself and her parents if she won the lottery. She would buy if she won. If Paul won the lottery, he would take a trip around the world. Notice I can use apostrophe D or would. Usually if I have a name, I will say would. And if I have a pronoun, I will say apostrophe D. Or John and his wife would buy a piano if they became rich. Would buy if. Okay. We use unreal conditionals to talk about a situation that is not real, but we imagine. For example, if I had $1 million, I would, right? Jose said he would feed the homeless, right? Very kind person. If I lived in Italy, oh, that's not a good one for now.
No.
Yeah, no, thank you. If I lived in Italy, I would move. I would move.
I will stay at home.
Not safe in Italy right now. All right, next one. If I got a job as a chef, what would you do? I would make a lot of money. I would work very hard.
I will open a restaurant.
I would open a restaurant. All right. Are these real situations?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's not that it will never be real, but it's not real at the moment. It's just imagination. Do I really have $1 million? No.
No.
Do I really live in Italy? No.
No.
Do I really work as a chef? No. So I'm just imagining the situation. I'm just imagining what I would do if I were in these situations. No, these are imaginary situations. A situation that is not real, that we imagine. So let's look at the grammar. Notice, look at the words in the red. If, simple past, would, and base verb. If my friend asked me for money, I would lend it to him. Tomas would be happy if he got a less stressful job. Speaking English would be easier for you if you practiced more frequently. So after if, what do we use? What comes after if?
Verb, past verb.
Past tense, that's right. Simple past.
The past.
Right? After if, we use simple past. If plus simple past. And after the other part of the verb, would.
Would. Plus verb.
Right? Simple past
Verb.
and would. These are your partners. Last night, what was the combination? What was the combination last night?
Present,
Present and will.
future.
Present and will.
Future.
Now, past and would. What's the difference? We're going to talk more about this tomorrow, but one is real and one is just imagination. It's just imagination. Okay?
Will and verb.
All right.
After the if is simple.
Form and meaning. When you imagine a future happening like this, you use past tense. We're not talking about the past. And this is what gets people very confused. They say, oh, teacher, wait a minute. You're talking about the future, but you're using a past tense verb. Doesn't make sense. Why are you saying had for tomorrow? For example, if I had time tomorrow, I would go to the gym. Right? If I had time, I would go to the gym. I'm using past tense verbs to talk about tomorrow. It doesn't make sense. But we're not talking about the past. For example, if I moved to a big city, I would sell my car. The meaning is not past, it's imaginary. It's imagination. It's hypothetical. I didn't move away and I didn't sell my car, but I'm just in my mind, I'm thinking. In my mind, I'm thinking, what would I do? Imagining a future possibility. Okay? Next. We can start with either clause, right? If Marta moved abroad, she would learn another language. Everybody know this word abroad?
No.
No.
Abroad means to a foreign country.
Abroad.
To another country. Right? If I move to Denver, that's not abroad. But if I move to France, that's abroad. Abroad means to a foreign country. Or
Abroad.
Marta would learn another language if she moved abroad. So notice, you can start with if or put if in the middle. You start with if or put if in the middle. Both are okay. But what's the difference? When I start with if, what do I use? Right here. Comma. Right? Gotta have that comma. All right? Gracias. Bonjour. Willkommen. And many words. Jumbo, salud. Hello. Hello. Yatahi.
Gracias.
Hola. Okay. Okay, some examples. All right, what do we say here? What can we say?
We had more time.
We had.
If we had more time and money,
We would
take a vacation to Hawaii. Right? If we had more time and money, we would take a vacation.
Take vacation.
Yeah.
Had, would. All right, next practice. How about this one?
You got.
You got more exercise and you would feel healthier and
If you
happier.
got more exercise, you would feel better. Past and would. Past and would. I think we missed number 2, didn't we?
Teacher, like word for will is the same, means the same like will, right?
It's the same as will, except it's imaginary.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, so let's start again. Here we go. We did this one already, and we missed number 2. There's number 2. Okay, the world, a better place if everybody helped.
The world
Would be a better place if we
everyone
all
helped
helped each other. Right. The world would be a better place if we helped each other. Will and would are similar, except one is possible and one is just imagination. We had this one already, right? Got and would feel.
I like that, the Bart Simpson.
Oh yeah, there's Bart sleeping over there, isn't he? All right. All right.
that
Would do
will do better
in school if
sleep more each night.
if he slept more time. This one didn't quite make it to the right spot, but there's the verb, right? Slept. Okay, good. All right, important note. Now, this is something that is very strange. I admit, I apologize in advance. This is very strange. Formal grammar requires these kind of conditional sentences. We use the word were for be, for all subjects, including I, he, she, it, we, they. For everybody, we say were. It's just a strange, it's an ancient form of English. It's only used in this form. So what do we say? We say, if I were you. Right? When you want to give somebody advice, if I were you, right? We don't say if I was, we say if I were you, right? If I were you, I wouldn't buy that car. If I were you, I wouldn't go to that part of town. If I were you, I would quit my job. If I were you, I would listen carefully to the teacher. Example, if I were you, I would buy that house. Not was, were. Not was, were. She would buy a mansion if she were wealthy.
Buy a mansion if she were healthy.
Everybody know this word wealthy?
No, teacher.
Wealthy means the same as rich. Rico. Wealthy. She would buy a mansion if she were wealthy. Mansion means big house, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's I, or he, or she, or we, or they, or you. We say for everybody, were. However, you will probably hear many native speakers use the word was. And this is more for informal English, right? Sometimes you hear people say, if I was you. It's okay, but it's not fantastic English. People say it all the time, but it's not fantastic English. Better to say, if I were you. And now, more practice. Okay, so now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down these questions, and we're going to go into our small groups again. So get out a paper and write down these. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 questions. We're going to go into our small groups, and we're going to discuss these questions. Little discussion time. Again, we're just imagining what we would do. It's not a real situation. I'm just imagining the situation. What would I do? What would you do if you, again, notice the verbs, all simple past. Became rich. What would you do if you found a wallet on the street? What would you do if your best friend moved far away? What would you do if your child failed a test? What would you do if you could be invisible for a day? Remember, the past of can is good. What would you do if you met a famous person on the street? And finally, what would you do if you saw a ghost? It's a little inconvenient to have everybody copy these down, but it's the only way we can do the conversation. Everybody got it, or you need more time?
More
I
time.
need more time.
More time? No problem.
I took
No
a
problem.
picture. I
No.
think it's the same, right?
What's that?
I took a picture from that.
Oh, take a picture with your camera. That's a great idea.
Yeah, so I don't want to like take time.
That's a good idea. So we'll wait here a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to put you into your small groups.
Ready.
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 Jennifer's ready? Everybody ready?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Almost?
Yes.
Más o menos?
Yes.
Más o menos.
1 more minute. I'm sure if you don't have them all written down, somebody in your group will have the question. Okay, all good? Good to go?
Yes.
All right. All right, let's see how many people. We got 16 people. Sounds like 4 groups tonight. All right, I'm gonna break you up into 4 groups. Okay, let's see. Okay, everybody ready?
Yes.
All right, everybody's got the questions. But right now it's 8:11, so let's talk till about 8:20. Okay.
All right.
Talk about 8 minutes. Okay, here we go. See you later. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. West.
I'm visiting you. How's it going?
Good, pretty good.
Does anybody have any questions about this? Or we figure it out?
But we had that question.
You feel okay?
Yes, we
No
do.
problems?
No.
So if plus past and then would.
Whoa,
And why do we say that? Because it's not real.
that's
It's just an
imagine.
invention of my mind. It's just an invention of my mind. So I use would to show it's not really a situation. It's just something I'm imagining. So for example, what would you do if you could fly? Well, I can't fly. I'm not Superman, right? So I'm just imagining, oh, I would fly every day around my neighborhood, right? I'm just imagining.
For the question, what could you do if your house caught on fire?
Mm-hmm. What would I do? Oh, I would call 911, and I would try to save all my family photos, and I would make sure that my daughter was safe, and I would also probably try to save the cat, but not too hard. My cat is on his own. If my cat's in the fire, sorry, I'm not going. I wouldn't go back to save the cat.
Sorry, the cat stays inside.
Yeah.
Cat can save himself.
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, I'm going to a different room. Okay, see you guys later.
Okay, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You rich because
Hello, everybody.
this is
Hello,
somebody far
Mr.
away.
Webb.
Hi, Mr. Webb.
Your visitor is here. How's it going? Are we all speaking English?
Yes.
Yeah, we try.
Yeah. Remember
Speak
when?
in English.
Very good, very good. That's fantastic. Remember, when we go into these small rooms, this is our opportunity to really have a speaking. It's not really that important if you speak about the questions. Key point is to practice your conversation, right?
Good.
Now, does everybody understand tonight's grammar point? Any questions I can answer about this?
Yes.
Everybody feel okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's all just in the head, right? It's just imagination. And that's the difference between the past and the present. When I use present, I'm showing that something is possible. When I use past, I'm saying, it's not really true. It's just a daydream.
But it could happen, right?
Maybe.
It could happen, but I'm not thinking about it as a real possibility at the moment. It's just what we call a hypothetical situation, right? It's not something you expect, in other words, right? You could win the lottery, but nobody expects to win the lottery, right? Right? It's the possibility is small. The possibility is small. So that's why we use would. Okay? All right. I'm going to go to a different room, and I'll bring you back to the breakout room in a minute, okay?
Okay.
All right. See you later.
See you later.
Okay.
Bye.
For the answer.
Hello,
I think it's a good
everybody.
one. That's why you keep thinking on that.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Okay, let me ask Rosendo. Okay, what would you do if your child failed a test?
Oh, good question.
I will put him on hold on. I forgot the word. I will make him to study with more.
Now, do you have children, Rosendo?
Yes.
Are they good students, or do you have to argue with them about school?
One and one.
One of each. One of each. Huh?
Yes.
Well, that's that's better than 0 for 2, I guess.
Seriously.
50-50. That's pretty good.
It is.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes. Yeah, it was the same with my daughter in piano. Boy, she would
Oh
not
wow.
study that piano. No,
No,
I
my
had to twist her arm every time it was piano lesson time. But
well,
but little by
my
little,
daughter,
she got it.
my daughter, the older, she plays violin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
and the little one she plays vihuela. It's like kind of guitar.
what the what?
The
What's it?
guitar?
The name is vihuela.
Iwela.
Yeah, it comes from Spain.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's like a guitar. Is it like one of those big guitars,
No, it's a smaller,
like you see in a
smaller.
mariachi band? No.
Yes,
Ah, very
but
interesting.
it is.
Very good. Very good. So what you said? What would you do if your child failed the test? You would you punish them?
Yes, I will punish them and I will make them to study harder.
Ah. Now, what's your favorite punishment for your children? Do you have
Uh,
what's no Xbox?
no, no, I don't punish them.
Oh, no punishments, huh?
No, I just talk to them,
All
like
right, all right.
about the future,
Oh
like
yeah, make good
yeah,
choices, right? How
yes.
to make good choices. All right, I'm going to let you guys continue on your own. I'll have you back in the other room in a minute, okay?
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, see you later. Let's see.
Bye.
Okay, one more room here to visit.
Yeah, but
Hello.
Hello, Mr.
hello.
Webb. Hey,
Hi,
teacher.
students. How you doing?
Here we are trying to practice.
Well,
Practicing?
Yeah.
Going okay? Now, does everybody feel like you're comfortable with this grammar?
yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're
Mr.
okay.
Webb, Mr. Webb, I have a question for you.
Of course.
What would you do if you saw a ghost?
A ghost?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd probably panic. I think I would panic. Maybe call the Ghostbusters, I guess.
Oh,
That's what the song says, right? Who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. That's right. We gotta call Ghostbusters. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about ghosts. I don't know if I believe in ghosts. I know there are things you can't explain, but I don't know about ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm a little suspicious of ghost stories.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical. Now, what would you do, Jose, if you saw a ghost?
No, I don't like to talk about the ghost.
It's troubling, huh? I understand.
So I live alone, so please don't talk
Oh
about
no, we don't want to scare you. We don't want to scare you.
Where about you go to sleep with the light on all night?
Yeah. You need your little night light, right?
Yeah.
That's right. All right. Good. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Okay, you're almost done.
Yeah.
Almost.
Almost. Okay, maybe 1 minute. We'll go back to the main room. Okay, 1 more minute.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. Little by little, here they come. Here comes everybody.
Hi.
There we go.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, welcome back. Everybody
Thank
back
you.
now?
Hi, Maria.
So, let's see, we got 2, 4, we got 12 back. I don't know, I think there are 15 people, so we're waiting for a couple more people. All right, I'm sure they'll be back pretty soon. All right, one more thing I want to do before we go home tonight. All right, and I'm going to share my screen one more time. And this time, okay, let's see here.
Oh.
All right, 1 second here. Okay. Okay. 1 second. All right, hold it.
Mary.
All right, so 1 second here. Whoops. Okay.
Rosendo.
All right, hold on 1 second here. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go to. All right, here we go. All right, let me share my screen one more time here. Okay, here we go. All right. There we go. Okay. We're going to do a little practice, and then we're going to go home. All right. Notice this example. I don't know Emily, so I won't ask her for a date. And we change it to conditional. If I knew Emily, I would ask her for a date. All right. How about the next one? Walter doesn't speak French, so he won't move to Paris. So what can we say?
If Walter speaks French,
Should we say speak or spoke?
spoke.
Walter spoke
French. What would he do?
He will move to Paris. Will move to Paris.
Exactly. If Walter spoke French,
Will move to
he would
Paris.
move to Paris. Exactly. There we go. Okay, if Walter spoke French, he would move to Paris. All right, let's do a couple more together here. How about the next one? Nancy isn't retired, so she doesn't have enough time for hobbies. But in our imagination, what do we say?
Is Nancy retired?
But we have the be verb here.
If
Nancy is retired. Is retired?
But we want to change to were, right?
Nancy were
Tired.
tired.
If Nancy were retired, she
will have
enough time for
time for habits.
enough time for her hobbies. Okay, good. If Nancy were retired, she would have enough time for her hobbies. There we go. Okay, next one.
My uncle doesn't have a car.
My uncle doesn't have a car, so he has to take the bus to work. Okay.
If
So
my uncle,
if my
uncle, where?
now this one says doesn't have.
if my
We want simple past, right?
had
Exactly. Oops.
My uncle have a car.
What can we say?
He would
He
won't
Won't.
take the bus to
He
work.
would or wouldn't?
He wouldn't take the bus.
He wouldn't
He
He
wouldn't
wouldn't.
have
take
to
the bus to work.
He
take
wouldn't
the
Wouldn't have to
bus
take
to
Work.
work. Right?
wouldn't
Have.
have
take the
to take
bus
the bus
to work.
to work.
He wouldn't have to
If he
take the
had a
bus
car,
to work.
he wouldn't have to take the bus to work, right? If my uncle had a car, he wouldn't have to
He
take the
wouldn't
bus to
have.
work. All right. All
Graciela
right.
lives far
All right.
from school.
Graciela lives far from school, so she is late to class very often.
If
Graciela lives
Graciela
Graciela
left
Graciela live
left
Lived what?
leave
from school. Left.
From school.
from
If
school.
far
From school.
Well, let's think
far
about this.
close
or
Right
close.
now she
close to
lives
school.
far, right?
Yeah,
So
close.
If
if she
Graciela
lived
If
lived
Graciela lives
close to school,
close
close
to
to
school,
school,
close to
Close
school.
to school.
she
she
he
wouldn't
wouldn't
She would
She
She
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
late
wouldn't
be
be
late
late to class
to
very often.
class very
to
often.
class.
class
She wouldn't be late to
very
class
often.
very often.
There we go. If Graciela lived close to school, she wouldn't be late to class very often. Okay? All right. Number 6.
Stephanie eats too
Stephanie
many
eats too
sweets.
many sweets, so
Too many
she
She's
is
sweets.
overweight.
overweight.
So she's
If
overweight.
Stephanie
If Stephanie
If
ate
If
Stephanie
teacher.
wouldn't
eight
Stephanie
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 ate
many sweets,
well, now hold on.
ate
Right now
wouldn't
she eats sweets, right?
if
So do we
Stephanie wouldn't
Stephanie
wouldn't
wouldn't or didn't?
didn't
Didn't.
didn't.
Right.
Yeah, didn't.
didn't
if Stephanie
didn't
Didn't eat
didn't eat
eat
so
so
many
many
sweets.
sweets.
many sweets,
eat
She
she
would
she
she wouldn't
wouldn't
to work.
wouldn't be overweight.
wouldn't
Overweight.
be overweight.
Be overweight.
She wouldn't be overweight.
Overweight.
Right.
she wouldn't
Overweight.
be
She wouldn't be overweight.
If Stephanie didn't eat so many sweets, she wouldn't be overweight. Okay. All right.
if
my parents doesn't understand computers, so
my
they
parents understand computers.
So they can't use Zoom. So what do we say for this one?
if my
if my
My
parents
parents understand me
Parents
Simple past, right?
didn't
If my parents understand
didn't
Understood, right?
understood, yeah.
understand
Computers,
to
computers.
computers.
they would
They
They
use
they would
they would
they
they
would
would can't
would
use Zoom.
use
Now,
some
we could say this two ways. You see right here we have can't. So we could say it two ways.
they
We could say
they
could
would
would
or
Oh yeah.
they
would
could
be
would
able to.
be
able
able to use
Use
Zoom.
to use
if my parents understood computers
they will be able to use some.
They would be able to use Zoom or they could use Zoom. Both are okay. Okay.
If Ophelia
if
were
Ophelia
very sick,
one God for today.
All right.
Ophelia is
Ophelia
very
is very sick, so she won't go to work
today.
But in our
If
she
Ophelia,
wants to go to work. So
if Ophelia
if
if
Ophelia
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 If Ophelia
wouldn't
weren't
weren't sick,
were
sick,
very sick,
We're
she
sick.
would
Would
Today.
you would
She will go to work.
go to work
To work.
today?
To work today.
If she weren't sick, she would go to work today. I'm gonna make a copy of these sentences and send it to everybody in the Remind app so you can look at them after the class. It says, if Ophelia weren't sick, she would go to work today. She wants to go to work, but she can't. All right. Bradley has a back problem,
Bradley
so he needs to go to physical therapy. Okay. So if Bradley,
Bradley
Having.
Hadn't.
but how do we make negative in past?
Didn't.
Had.
Or had.
Right.
Had.
Didn't have.
Didn't have
Have a back problem?
back
He
problem.
Bad problem.
Wouldn't
She would go. She wouldn't go to the. Wouldn't
go.
Need
to go to physical therapy.
therapy. Physical therapy.
If he didn't have a back problem, he wouldn't need to go to physical therapy. Oops. There we go. If Bradley didn't have a back problem, he wouldn't need to go to physical therapy. Okay. And finally, Alberto isn't friendly, so he doesn't get along very well with his coworkers.
were friendly.
If Alberto were friendly,
If Albert was friendly,
was not.
Were friendly.
Right.
Albert were.
If
If
Alberto
Albert
were
Were
friendly,
friendly.
He would
Would get
would get
Could get
along
along
well
with
with
his coworkers.
his co-worker.
co-workers.
co-workers.
okay? All right, all right. Let me do a little quick save on this one. Okay, so right after class, I'm going to send you this document, so you'll have all these sentences to look at. So tonight we talked about the second conditional. Last night we talked about the first conditional. Tomorrow we're going to compare the two. Sounds good? All right. Let me stop the share here for a second. All right. All right, there we are, finished. Another class done. Congratulations, we made it through, what's this, 4 classes now? Okay.
Yep.
All right, we'll see if we can make it another, what, 2 months? Oh my gosh. Oh my God, I'm gonna be exhausted by the end of this.
You're gonna become an IT expert.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some tequila very quick after the class by the end of it.
Hey, cool.
Oh man, this is tough. Well, I'm glad you all came, and remember, it's not important if you come every night. It's important that you come when you can. So and all the stuff that I send you, if you have time, do it. If you don't have time, don't worry about it. We're just going to do what we can in this strange situation. It's not good for anybody, but it's what we got, right? It's all we have. So we'll do our best. We'll do our best. So like I said, I'm gonna send you the document that we just practiced. You can look at that tonight, and then tomorrow we're gonna compare the possible and the imaginary, present and past, will and would. Sounds good?
Yes.
All right. All right. No mas for tonight. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a great evening.
Bye.
Drive
Good
safely.
night, guys.
Drive
tomorrow.
safely.
Guys,
No
later.
drinking and driving. Have
Oh,
a
no.
good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you
See you. See
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Don't
See
go to the
you.
nightclub. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.